Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bitch and Brainstorm podcast. I'm your host, Elaine Turso, and I'm here with my friend, Katrina Sawa, who is going to be one of our panelists for the Elevate Your Customer Experience Summit on July 12th. So, Miss Katrina, would you please introduce yourself for everybody that does not have the pleasure of knowing you?
Hello, gorgeous. I have been a business coach for 21 years. I used to be in advertising sales for the local newspaper that is dead in the water now, but 23 years ago, it was good. Love helping small businesses figure out how to get more done so they can reach more people and make more money. So yeah, that's what I do. And I have a publishing company too, because it's just cheaper to do your own books. And so now I show people how to do their own books.
Very nice. Very nice. So when it comes to customer experience, what have you done in your business to provide an amazing customer experience?
Oh my gosh. So much. I used to be called the follow-up queen. So I was, especially when I first started, I was just local marketing. I mean, because we didn't have really any websites and we didn't have Zoom. We didn't have any of this back then. So I would hustle around to events and I would follow up like crazy, but not just email. I would do phone, direct mail, email, right? And I still do that all today. And that is the key. I think that a lot of people are missing is they're not continuing to do all the tried and true basics of follow-up marketing. They try to automate everything, which we have to do. Don't get me wrong. We need automation. We need email. But let's face it, people are too busy sometimes to see all your emails and they go into spam or trash. So you got to get them in other ways. So really having that follow-up plan, that action plan for getting in front of so many different ways in front of your prospects is key. And then making sure they really connect with you. So I do videos all over the place on my website. Like there's videos on almost every page of my website so they can hear me and feel my energy and get to know me, right? So those are a couple of the things for sure.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things I know about what you do is that you help people become authors. And so can you talk a little bit about what that customer experience is like, helping people become published authors?
Yeah, well, a lot of people are scared to tell their story. Some people just will sit on their book for months and months. I was at a conference, a writer's conference, and I couldn't believe how long these people had been sitting with their book manuscript in their computer. And I'm like, oh my God, just get it out. So I think it's just, I mean, I know we think like, just do it, just get it out. I think it's about nurturing them and making them feel comfortable and confident with being able to put themselves out in the world, but also helping finesse the words. Like I was on a call with a client yesterday, a new client referred for her book publishing. And I looked at her manuscript and I gave her so many different ideas of things to add and make it more of a customer journey for the reader for her book. And so I think that added touch makes me different than a lot of publishers.
Yeah. And so why do you think people are so scared to follow up? Why do you think they're so scared to? I know when you mentioned calling people on the phone, I was like, I can already hear people freaking out about that. Why do you think we have gotten to this? How do you think we've gotten to this point?
Well, the beauty is that most people let their phone calls go to voicemail these days. So you don't really have to talk to them. Like 90% of them go to voicemail. So you just have to know what to say in the voicemail. And then it's on them, right? The ball's in their court. So I think you got to be pretty thorough with that. Why they're scared is because I think most people think they're bugging people. And I say to that, I say, stop it, because you're not bugging them. They're just too busy to pay attention. Even my mom, she's like, well, your friend isn't emailing me back. And I'm like, well, your email's probably in her spam filter. Like, come on, think, people. Like, it's not that they don't want to hear from you. It's that they need those multiple touches and multiple hits over the head in order to, oh, okay, yeah, I do have to get back to Elaine. Or thank you, Elaine, for contacting me 17 times. I do want to talk to you. I've just been really busy. And this is the time that I'm going to say, let's have a conversation or whatever.
Yeah.
Just stop overthinking it.
Yeah, I know. We are really, I'm such good at overthinking it, overanalyzing it and all of the things. And so it can be really
I'm
challenging.
shocked at that. I'm shocked that you're an overthinker.
Oh,
No,
Girl, you don't even know the stuff that goes on inside my head.
oh, I just ripped the Band-Aid off. In fact, I just like did a design. I stuck it up as my Facebook cover, put it a post. I don't even care. I don't even care what I'm just doing little pieces of all kinds of stuff online right now. And it's like, well, I got to do, I mean, I've got a lot of projects, so I just have to freaking do it. If I overthink it, nothing will get done.
Yeah. Yeah. So because you have multiple projects going on, how do you manage it all?
Oh, well, thank God for my team. I just hired a new person too. So I've got 3 people, potentially 4 or 5, depending on what else I need in certain projects. But I rely on my techie gal to make sure nothing's breaking. Like I caught a client, her website was down today, and I messaged her and I'm like, oh my God, get your website. And she's out of town at a funeral. And I'm like, get your techie gal on it, or get mine, like whatever. You got to have people to handle stuff. So you don't have to freak out in the field or wherever you are at a funeral, for God's sakes, right? So you have to have that. You have to have that techie person. I know you're that for many people. And then you have to have people that can do all the things. So I have a couple people outside the US now, thankfully, because I mean, I love people in the US, don't get me wrong, but it gets a little pricey and I want people to charge what they're worth. So there's plenty of, you know?
Yeah. So how do you get your team on board with your customer experience and making sure that that is like center for you?
Yeah, you have to really nurture your team too. And I was not a team nurturer in the beginning. I was just like, watch what I'm doing, listen to what I'm saying, and then go figure it out yourself. I was like a learn by osmosis kind of a leader. That didn't work very well. So I had to learn how to delegate more, how to really express to my team what I needed, what I wanted. And so I have phone calls with them, and yeah, they have different time zones, but I say, you know, I can't hire you unless you can talk to me at least once a week at my time zone. The hours that I want to work, not at 6 a.m. And so I have meetings. You know, we just get on the phone because I'm really good at expressing verbally what I want and showing things. And then they can take that recording and, you know, they can watch it over and over and over. I don't care, you know, but that's how I communicate that vibe, that message, that energy, those words, you know, all that kind of stuff with my team. You have to be in communication. You can't just email your team and expect them to get everything about what you do.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I have to have meetings with my VA to be able to just to like, because otherwise I will assume she's too busy, even though I'm paying her. Like I had this thing where I had to get over. She was like, tell me what you need. And I'm like, but she's like, you're paying me. So she figured out the best way for Elaine. She goes, tell me what you have going on this week. What are you working on? And then was like, I'm going to do that for you. And I was like, oh, okay. Right. So I appreciated her taking that because I would have never given her anything because I didn't want to bother her.
There are so many entrepreneurs that do that. They buy a block of hours from a VA and then they never know what to do to that with them. And so the VAs that just sit there are not the right VA for those kind of people. You need a taker is what you take things off your plate. So you need someone who can identify and intuitively figure out how to help you like yours did. And that is amazing. And most of us.
So she provided a great customer experience because otherwise,
great, right? And you're like, oh, thank God you did that. You know, that now I know like my best way to delegate. I probably happened upon that process years ago too, myself, with somebody doing it to me. And now I just know. Right.
Yeah. So if you had one piece of advice to give to somebody who is maybe thinking that their customer experience is super fantastic and they don't need to change anything, right? I think we can all improve somewhere. So what advice would you give to people?
I mean, I'm 21 years into my business and I'm right now revamping a lot of my initial opt-in autoresponder processes because they need a refresh. They need a refresh. They need new eyeballs. I hired a copywriter for $1,500 to help me revamp some of that. Sometimes you got to pay to play. Sometimes you got to get some outside eyeballs looking at what you're doing and what you're saying. I mean, she pointed out a couple of things on the opt-in pages even that I could improve on. So, I mean, if I'm hiring it out and I teach it, come on. If you're not a sales and marketing person, you've got to get some eyeballs on what you're doing and get some advice. Really.
because we can't see what we can't see, right? You need that outside perspective to, we can't see it. We're too in it. We can't see it. So I 100% agree with that. Getting outside perspective, outside advice, hiring someone, because we're not supposed to do this alone. We're just not.
And don't say, oh, I can't afford $1,500. It doesn't have to be $1,500. Okay. I hired someone one-on-one. You might not do that. You might hire a different way, but I mean, you have to get support around sales, marketing, because they're the lifeblood of your business. And sometimes we need someone to talk through the words. So I know we want to make sure they come to your summit for sure in July. I have a workshop in June too, but whatever. It's all good. It's all about follow-up.
Well, tell everybody about when the workshop is, because we'll get this published soon.
I know. And we got to wrap it up because we're getting, this is our bitch session. The bitch session is, if you're not doing enough follow-up and you don't know what to say, then you need to come to my workshop, Jumpstart Your Follow-Up workshop on June 21st. I'm getting all my dates. Mine's June 21st, is yours is July 12th. So backwards. So come to them both.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming to talk with me today, as well as being a participant of our summit. I'm so excited to have you. And we have 22 people that are going to be on 4 panels. So be sure to check it out July 12th. You will not regret it. I promise you. No. So thank you, love, so very much. Bye. And we'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye.